Hi there, it's a beautiful day today in Holland. I'm trying to get my renewable energy businesses and websites going. I recently did a new Climate Babe competition, so I invite you to vote for the Climate Babes. Follow the link next to the video. I saw a video by Raw Dog Led. He had some very good comments about inflation. For me, inflation is a bit of a mystery because I don't know how much the banks can absorb in terms of cash. They have huge debts, they can be triggered, well, you know, so the money in circulation can, I think, be controlled by the banks independently of Treasury or anybody else. But at the same time, it seems, and Raw Dog Led, the guy shows that the prices of food have been increasing considerably. He shows some tomatoes that have gone up, 3 tomatoes for 1.50 instead of, say, a pound of tomatoes for 75 cents. It reminds me that I was in Dubrovnik, in Yugoslavia in '88. When I went to the market there, and there really was only 1 tomato in the whole entire market, and the inflation there was then 400% per month, which means that we basically wanted to change our then guilders, Dutch guilders, into local currency on a daily basis and not on a weekly basis or not too much in advance. Quite funny situation to be in if you are from a rich country. You know, we would go to a place to eat hamburgers, and we were quite hungry, and the hamburgers were small, so the first one had lettuce and tomato, the second one had only lettuce, and the third one was just a bun with a burger. In the current situation in the US, it's much more serious, because basically, first of all, the US might lose its ability to buy foreign stuffs because foreign banks will stop buying dollars. So how does it have the currency to buy something in a foreign country? Well, it has to sell something in the foreign currency, and it won't be dollars, so it has to produce something. To produce something, it will need oil, and well, that's the second problem then that they face, is they might lose control of the oil market. Because if you bring a lot of dollars into circulation and they start circulating independently of the US in banks that are not owned or controlled by the US, then the petrodollar doesn't really mean anything. Traders can sell their oil for dollars, and those dollars can be recycled towards local currencies that it's trading with. So you could have simply a independent, let's say, how do you call that? Circulation between oil, dollars and euros. Between Middle East and Europe, and the US will lose control over that. And I really expect that when that is threatening to happen, when the US threatens to lose its access to oil, its readily available control of it, it will start a war against whoever is threatening that. And there's another factor which might happen, and that is that foreign countries that are against the US, that really don't like that influence in the world anymore, will team up and simply buy more oil than they need at the moment. And the market is such that, and the dollar reserves they have is such that they can do that, and they can simply deplete the US of access to oil because it's not offered in the market, or it's only offered at a very high price, but maybe not offered at all. All those things are very worrisome, and the only thing the US can do to counter it at the moment is print more dollars to buy the oil at higher prices. And also another effect that is taking place, I think, which is more about establishing the plutonomy that the banks are so enthusiastic about, is that if they push dollars into the US society, they will make it hard for people to live, hard for people to do things. But they won't do that for the plutonomy, for the few that are rich and very wealthy. They won't notice it at all. That's exactly the same as at the moment is already happening in the world, where the US is printing dollars, and the countries that cannot do that see their dollar reserves, or the ones that are in circulation locally, like in Africa or in the Middle East or in third world countries, suddenly see their dollar reserves being sucked away because they have to buy fuel with it. And the fuel is getting more expensive. They suddenly have less money to go around, and they're trying to abandon it. It's a big problem. I did want to say one thing about let's say gold and silver is considered a very good store of wealth. But listen to the raw Doc Lett guy. He shows that food is a good store of wealth as well, because basically what he says is his tomatoes have increased in value, or not increased in value, but the price of it has moved with inflation, with basically the price of gold or comparable to that. Of course, these vegetables are not, you cannot keep them long enough, so you cannot basically build a tomato bank. That's ridiculous, but there is an equivalent to tomatoes with a lag time of delivery of about 4 weeks or a month or something like that, and that's tomato seeds. And so what I wanted to say in this video is that all seeds that are for real produce, for tomatoes, things that you really eat, and let's say the more nutritious the better. I'm not sure whether potato seeds exist, but everything that you can eventually turn into these type of vegetables that have a value that basically goes up with inflation, so it basically is a store of value. All these seeds are actually very good investments, I would say. At the moment, I think, and this is just me from the top of my head in the current situation, because I know these seeds are very cheap. Seeds do not have the price that is the market value after planting and growing and delivering to the market. That would be logical in some cases, basically because usually raw materials attain the price that or close to what you can get from it from the market, minus a share that is then for the person processing it. Because of course he gets a profit as long as his profit is big enough. He'll have enough money to buy the raw materials. I guess eventually seeds might become more valuable and attain the value that is comparable to the market price minus the wage for planting and sowing and tending it and etc. And so they will be following the market price of the foodstuffs that they represent. I got some rice. I got a bag of rice, 30 kilos, and it's still good. I may buy a new one. It's a bit. It sounds a little bit over the top. It really isn't. I don't think it's that big of an investment to have an insurance for any food calamity that might occur. And let's say if you're not able to buy gold and silver in the US, think about buying seeds of plants that really give a lot of nutritional value. Because I believe that someday, you can put them in a cupboard, you can keep them for years. Someday you might be able to trade them for real food and real things that you need. Anyway, it's always weird to make these videos that are so about big calamities and problems, but thanks for listening anyway.